Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Target Teach Tutors. This video is a first in a series of videos about chemical bonding, and we will look at ionic bonding in particular. Let's start off by looking at the definition of a chemical bond. A chemical bond is a force or attraction that holds atoms or ions together to form chemical compounds. There are many different types of chemical bonds, three which you will need to know at this stage. They are ionic, covalent, and metabolic bonds. Before I go any further, these are some keywords I will be using throughout the video. Atoms are the smallest unit of whole matter. They are made up of protons which are positively charged, neutrons which have no charge, and electrons which are negatively charged. Protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus at the center, and electrons are found around the nucleus in shells. Atoms usually have no overall charge as the number of protons and electrons are balanced, and therefore the positive and negative charges are balanced. When atoms lose or gain electrons, they become charged and are known as ions. If the atom has lost electrons, it becomes positively charged as it has lost negative charges. If the atom has gained electrons, it becomes negatively charged. Positive ions are called cations, while negative ions are called anions. So we will go back to bonding. As a general principle, atoms want to have a full outer shell of electrons, which is 8 electrons. They can obtain this by losing or gaining electrons, as in this case of ionic bonding, or by sharing electrons, as in the case of covalent bonding. Elements in group 0, also known as group 8, already have a full outer shell. Therefore, they do not gain, lose, or share electrons. They are monatomic. That means made of one atom only and not found as molecules. Now let's look at ionic bonding. Elements in groups 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 7 form ions as shown in this table. Group 1 elements such as lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium have one electron in the outer shell. Sodium, for example, it has 11 electrons, sodium, 11 minus, and 11 protons, 11 plus, and it has 3 shells. They contain 2, 8, 1 respectively. It is shown in electronic arrangement. To have a full shell of electrons, they must either gain 7 electrons to make 8 or lose 1 electron as the next shell below is full. Which is easier, gaining 7 or losing 1? Losing 1. Therefore, this element loses 1 electron and gets 1 positive charge. So here it forms an sodium ion. When it loses 1 electron, and from here you can show this way, and from here you can show this way, to form sodium ion, Na1 plus. When drawing ions, you put them in square brackets with their charge outside. For example, sodium within the bracket and put the charge outside. In the same way, group 2 elements have 2 electrons on their outer shell. It is easier to lose 2 electrons than gain 6 to fill the shell. Therefore, these elements get 2 positive charge. Example, magnesium. Loses 2 electrons and becomes Mg2 plus. Group 3 elements lose 3 electrons to get 3 plus charge. Example, aluminium. Group 4 elements do not lose or gain electrons, instead they share electrons in a covalent bond. We will look at this in the next video. Now let's look at group 5. These elements have 5 electrons in the outer shell. In this case, it is easier to gain 3 more electrons to get a full shell of 8 instead of losing 5. Therefore, these elements gain 3 and become 3 minus charged. Interestingly, majority of compounds involving group 5 use covalent bonding instead of ionic. Moving on to group 6 and 7. Elements in group 6, example oxygen, its electronic arrangement is 2,6, gain 2 electrons and become 2 negatively charged. 1 electron and 2 electrons. Group 7, for example chlorine, its electronic arrangement is 2,8,7, gain 1 electron and 1 negatively charged. As I have mentioned before, group 0 or 8 already have full shell of electrons and they are inert, which means they do not react to form bonds. For example, neon has got 10 electrons. It has 2 shells and its outer shell contains 8 electrons. As its outer shell has full of electrons, it does not lose or gain electrons. On the periodic table, elements on the right side are nonmetals, while elements on the left side are metals. Metals form positive ions, while nonmetals form negative ions. Therefore, the ionic bonding occurs between metals and nonmetals. The force of attraction between the oppositively charged ions hold the compound together. This is an example of an electrostatic force. Sodium and chlorine elements are common examples to explain ionic bonding. Sodium is a metal and it is placed in group 1 in the periodic table and it is one of the reactive metals. As other reactive metals in group 1, sodium also has 1 electron in its outer shell. The total number of electrons in a sodium atom is 11. The electronic configuration of sodium is 281. The first shell contains 2 electrons, second shell contains the 8 electrons, but the third shell contains only 1 electron. Instead of getting 7 more electrons for the outer shell to complete it, sodium loses 1 electron and becomes sodium ion. Now sodium has got 10 electrons. As it has lost 1 negatively charged particle, sodium ion has a 1 plus charge. Chlorine is a nonmetal and it is placed in group 7 in the periodic table and it is one of the halogens. As other halogens in group 7, chlorine also has 7 electrons in its outer shell. The total number of electrons in chlorine atom is 17. Electronic configuration of chlorine is 287. The third shell contains 7 electrons. To complete the third shell, chlorine needs only 1 electron. When chlorine atom acquires 1 electron, it becomes chlorine ion. So the chlorine ion will be Cl-. So sodium wants to lose 1 electron while chlorine wants to gain 1 electron. They are a perfect match. The formation of sodium chloride compound is due to 1 positively charged sodium and 1 negatively charged chlorine attracted by electrostatic forces. This is ionic bonding. Thanks for watching this video. The next video will cover covalent bonding. Please like this page, share with your friends and leave a comment so we know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Bye now.